Hare Krishna. Learn to see pause as an action word. When we are, say, watching a video or hearing an audio, at that time, when we press the pause button, the action in the video stops. So normally we may have two buttons, pause and action, as two separate buttons. So we may think of pause as the opposite of action. That may be true in terms of depicted action on a video, but in terms of our inner world, we have to recognize that pause may well be the one of the most important actions that we may do. Why? Because in our inner world, often impulses rise, and those impulses prompt us to act in particular ways. And if we are not vigilant, if we are not alert, then the impulse rises within us and it pushes us and we act impulsively. And then afterwards we think, why did I do that? So if we don't want to be deluded thus by our impulses, which will not only just delude us, they will often also degrade us. So if we want to avoid this, then when the impulses rise and we feel like speaking something or doing something, at that time we need to have an inner pause button. That means we need to internally check ourselves. So when we feel impelled to do something, that is a characteristic frequently of the mode of passion. And Krishna describes pravritti, the impulse for action, as the characteristic of the mode of passion. In 14.12 he says, Lobha pravrittirarambha karmanamashamaha spruha rajasyetani jayante vivruddhe bharatarshabha. So, pravritti, the impulse to action is a defining and driving characteristic of the mode of passion. This in 14.11, the previous verse, Krishna says that illumination is the characteristic of the mode of goodness. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasham upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyad vivruddham sattvamithyuta. So, prakash, illumination. So, when our inner world gets illuminated, especially in terms of the interaction between the inner and the outer world, when the impulse comes and the doorways of the senses through which we will act on the impulses, when they are illuminated, then we, before speaking or before acting, we think, hey, should I do this? Should I not do this? And thus, we will watch ourselves. So, this, when the impulse comes, pausing is vital for our self-protection. And for that purpose, if we learn to see pause positively, not as an inaction, but as a deliberation that precedes action, then we will see that pause also is an action which is an internal action. Pause is the way by which we can do internal reflection, use the illumination coming from goodness, and then make a wise decision. So those of us who live in the mode of passion, we always feel like doing things, and inaction can seem unproductive. But when we redefine pause not as an inaction, but as also an action, as the inner action that ensures that our outer action becomes effective, then this positive vision will help us to make our outer actions productive. Now, when we pause, we can do different things. We can just take deep breaths when we feel impelled to shout at someone, or we can recite the verses from the Bhagavad Gita, we can chant the holy names of Krishna, we can memorize some wisdom quotes based on scripture, we can repeat some chosen prayers to Krishna. These are ways in which we can make our pause also filled with some action. And thus, when we learn to see pause as an action and include in that pause some positive action which redirects us towards Krishna, then we will be protected from our impulses. Thank you. Hare Krishna.